Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Codophobia and a new video on my channel. And in this video, I'm going to discuss about three important commands, netstat, netcat, and how to run a Python web server. So we will see we have a single command, and using that single command, we can run a Python web server. And also we will look at two important commands, two important networking commands in Linux, that is netstat and netcat. So netstat I have already used in my previous videos. So when I was discussing about socket programming, I have already used netstat command to show you all the sockets that we have created. So like if you have watched my previous video, you would have an idea of what netstat command does. Netcat is a new command, but it is very important. Like when we are going to understand the transport layer. So of course, after this video, I will start covering the transport layer. Then in that, like when we are looking at UDP, TCP protocol, this netstat command can be very useful there to show examples. And creating a Python web server also, like this can be very useful for you also. Like whenever you want to create a web server using just one line, you can create a web server and you can host something on that, on some files or something on that web server if you want to. So let's first look at the netstat command. And I've already shown you many examples in my socket programming videos. I will show you some examples here also. So this link is here, like this is the manual page of netstat command. So if you are interested in like knowing all the options that you can use using netstat command, you can visit this web page. And if you're in your system itself, let's say here, like I can just type man netstat, okay? So this will give you like everything, like what netstat command does and what are the options to use, and maybe some examples also of how to use netstat command. It will show you here. Or you can, but I mean, if you are on the system, it's like if you're on the terminal, right? It's better to just use the man command and see. And if you want more examples, you can also Google search and see those. Then, so we now have a replacement for netstat command, that is ss command. So ss is mostly for sockets. So netstat can be used for multiple purpose, like it can be used for seeing the sockets. It can be used for seeing the routes. It can also be used for seeing the links. So there are multiple uses of netstat with the help of SSS. So SSS is mostly, the use of SSS is mostly for sockets. If you see, this netstat command helps in printing the network connections, routing tables, interface stats. All of this, it helps in this. But we are mostly interested, at least at this stage, we are mostly interested in like to print the network connections that we have, like all the sockets and the connections that they are that they have formed. So here I have shown you examples of three commands. If you see like netstat NUTLP, so this is the flags basically that you can use with netstat command. This shows all the TCP UDP sockets in listen state. Similarly, if you use this flags NUTAP, it shows all the TCP UDP sockets in all the states, not only listen state. So L is for listen here, A is for show me all the states. Then you can use netstat NUAP. This shows only the UDP sockets in all the states. Because if you see this NUTLP in this, N is for numerical, like show me only the numerical values. U is for UDP, T is for TCP, L is for listen, P is for process, right? So that's how you can use the netstat command. Let me show you some examples of this command. So I have already given you some examples. So let me show you a bit more. So you can use netstat. Okay. By default, if I use NUPTL, okay, this flags. So I will see, if you see like three are listed here, and it will only list all the process, like all the UDP sockets and all the TCP sockets and all those sockets which are in listen state. Okay. So you can see right here, you have this first one is the TCP, this is the TCP, this is the UDP, and this is in listen state, this is in listen state. And even the UDP one, for UDP, typically you will not see the listen state, but it's waiting for some data from the clients. So you see three here. And similarly, you can, if you just want to see only the TCP, or if you want to see the all, right, you can use A also here instead of L. So it will show you everything, right? There are, if you see, like this is of course listen is there, all of these are there, but there are many other states also there, like something like here there is fin underscore wait one, right? This is one of them. Established state is there. So this shows you like the sockets in all the states. So other states also you are seeing, but yeah, we will discuss about all these states, listen, established, what is fin underscore wait one states when we cover transport layer. That's why I'm telling this command is very important. Because when we are discussing about states in TCP, there we can use this command and try to see all the states. Now, like these are some of the examples. You can try more examples if you want to. Like if you want to see only UDP sockets, you can try the last command in all states. So you can try other commands also. Now this is also very important, like creating a Python web server. Okay, so there is simple command this using this. So basically, your Python, if you are on Python 2, the command will be different. For Python 3, the command is different. So here I am talking about Python 3. So basically, let me go here. So I'm a Tmux session. So let me create like 2 windows here. Okay, let me go to the first one. And what I will do is I will do cd web server. I'm in this web server folder. I have one file index.html. So if you cat this, it's one line is written just hello. I mean h1 and welcome, and this h1 is closed. Just one line is written here. Okay. So what I will do, I will start the Python web server here. So Python 3 minus m. Okay. Then HTTP server. Okay. Now this web server is running now. If you can see, serving HTTP on IP address 0.0.0.0 and port number 8000, right? Basically, this is the IP address to which this socket is bounded, and this is the port number. Okay. Now, if I go down, okay, here what I can do, you can use this command watch sudo netstat. Okay, and I will use nuptl. Okay, then you will see here, like if you can see here, right now we have a new socket here. So basically this is a web server. So typically web servers, they will use TCP for communication. That's why a TCP socket here. And this is listening on this IP address 0.0.0.0. That means it is listening on all the IP address that are there on the system. And port number is 8000 here. That's where it is listening. And this is the Python program name Python 3. And this is the PID, state is listen. Okay. Now let's close this. Now what we'll do is we will try to make a request here. So what I can do is I can just use the curl command to make the request. Curl. Then I will use this flag. So you can use Telnet also to make a request, and you can use other tools also to make a request. But here I will try to use curl. I will just copy paste this one from above. Okay. I'm just showing you that basically if this is a web server, you can make a curl request and you can get that file index.html, right? So I will write the file name here, index.html. Okay. So we are not able to see the whole output here. I would have used some other method to see that, but that's not important here. As you can see here, like from this server, this got a request from 127.0.01 at this time. And the request was for get index HTML, HTTP 1.1. This was the request that I made. And the status code for this is 200. You can see the reply here also, right? You got HTTP 1.0, 200 OK reply from the server. And some more headers are there from the servers. What is the server name and date and content type, everything. Like content type is text HTML here. And finally, you see the message, the reply, right? What was in there in the file, that is welcome, that we have got here. So I was just trying to test this web server, whether this is working fine or not. But you can see, right? We have a web server here. We can make curl request to this and we can see what's there, right? But this is very simple web server, right? You should not use this web server for production because this does not have, a lot of securities. And also this will not be able to handle a lot of traffic. That's why you should not use this web server. But of course, but for testing purpose, of course, you can use this. Now let's discuss about third command, which is very important. So netstat I have already discussed a lot previously, so I didn't go into details of netstat here. But netcat or nc command is very, very important when you want to understand TCP and UDP protocol. I will take a lot of examples in the further videos that I make on TCP and UDP. So of course, again, you have the manual page, and of course you can type man nc, and then also you can see all the help, all the flags that can be used for nc command and what it does. Now, if you see like this, I have taken from the manual page, the nc or netcat utility is used just about everything under the sun involving TCP or UDP. So whenever you are dealing with TCP or UDP, you can easily use this command for doing anything related to TCP and UDP. So it can open TCP connections, it can send UDP packets, it can send TCP packets, it can listen on any TCP and UDP ports, it can do port scanning, it can deal with both IPv4 and IPv6. So there are a lot of use cases of NC command. So I will show you some of the use cases using some of the examples. And we will be using NC command a lot when we study about transport layer in further videos. So let's first discuss about a simple example of client server model. So when we are doing the socket programming, there we have created like a simple client and server program, right? We will see how we can do the same using NC command. So without writing all those code, you can just use NC command and create a simple client and server, and you can communicate between both of this. So whenever in future, let's say if you want to start a simple client and server, whatever TCP or UDP, you can use just this NC command and do that. So you can see like this is from a documentation I have taken from net. It is quite simple to build a very basic client server using model using NC. On one console, start NC listening on specific port for a connection. For example, NC -L1234. I mean, you can simply start listening on some port number. That's what we were doing in client server model also. NC is now listening on port 1234 for a connection. Then go to a second like window and connect to the machine and port being listened on. So basically this is your server which you have started first. Then start a client and basically connect to the server. And after that, basically once the connection is established, then you can chat. Let's see this with the help of one example. So we do have, let's go to the first one. Okay. So what I will do is I'll just run NC -L and any port number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So basically I am starting, if you see, I'm starting like this is a server. Basically I'm starting that on port number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And basically this has started listening. Okay. This is not showing much details, but it has started listening here. Now, if you go to the second one, of course, you can use netstat if you want to see that whether it is listening or not. You can just use netstat, okay, to verify this NUPTL, okay. And you should see that this is a TCP by default. Basically, if you have not mentioned any protocol, by default it's TCP protocol, and you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is listening, right? And you can see the program name also NC, and this is the PID, okay, just to verify this. Now, what I will do is, if you see the second command here, how should the client connect? It's simple, same like client server, NC, then IP address, basically 127.0.0.1. So why I'm using 127.0.1? Because if you see from netstat command, you can see it's listening on all the IPs that are there on this system. So of course, 127.0.0.1 is one of the IPs, so I can use that. 0.0.1 and port number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now just write something here, write hello here. Okay, you should see hello there also. You see, when the client wrote hello here, then server also, basically whatever client has sent, the server is displaying that. It's a simple kind of like client server model here. Whatever like the client sends, the server will display it. And opposite will also happen here. So whatever the server will send, the client will also display it. So I will show you. So again, let's try another thing. Maybe just write Shivam. You will see Shivam there also. Okay. Now go to the top. Go to the first one. Write something here. Maybe hello from server. You should see here in the client also. So here you can communicate in both the ways. The client can also communicate with the server. Server can also then send the message to the client, right? It is possible here. But you can see, right? Using this, basically you can create a simple client server model here. Now what I will do is I will create a UDP server here using same NC command. Okay, so I can use NC. Then of course for UDP I will use U flag, and L is for again listening, and this would be it, right? Then the port number I have to give, right? Okay. Now I will go to the second one. Close this. Again, use a netstat command so that you can see here that now we have you see here, I have a UDP socket now listening on port number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Close this. Now let's start the client. And in client also, you have to mention U for UDP because you want to communicate over UDP, right? So in client also, you have to mention that, right? That you want to use UDP protocol for this socket. NC -U, and then of course 127 0.0.1 and port number is 12345. Now let's write hello here. So you should get the reply. Again, you can see in the server also hello is printed here. So if you write anything here, right, maybe just write anything, you should see that there also. Even if you go to the top and write anything, maybe not do the same thing, maybe anything, you should see here also. The same thing is happening now, what was happening in TCP. But of course, this is a UDP client and server here. It is a bit different from a TCP. And that's why we have used different flags here. I mean, one flag has been extra here. So by default, if you do not specify U, it will always be TCP server and TCP client. But then if you specify U here, that means it becomes UDP server, and of course here also UDP client. So see, with the help of just one command, we can simply create a simple client server model here, right? And this is again very good, right? Here you are getting, I mean, you can, the client can also talk to the server can also again talk to the client. Both can happen here. Now, if you see there should now be a connection between the ports. Anything typed at the second console will be concatenated to the first and vice versa. That's what we have seen. After the connection has been set up, ANSI does not really care which side is being used as a server and which side is being used as a client. So once the connection has been established, it will not care about that which one is server, which one is client. Okay. But yeah, if you are just creating, if you just want to create a server and client model, I mean, maybe you can assume the first one as a server. Like the first one here, right, which you are starting like this one, and this one, right, where you are basically going to connect. This one is a client, so you can assume this when you want to just test it. Now next one, data transfer. With the help of ANSI command, you can also do data transfer. So basically, if you remember, right, TCP is used. I mean, TCP is the protocol that is, or the transport layer, basically using a transport layer. You give the data to a transport layer, and then the transport layer will transfer that data, right? So here also, if you create, like, ANSI is basically kind of sockets, right? You are creating some sockets in the transport layer. So basically, with the help of these sockets, you can transfer data also. We will see here now how to do that. In this example also, we are basically transferring some data, right? We are transferring hello from here to here. Similarly, we are transferring some data, right? Some text data. Now, of course, if you have file also, you can transfer it. So you can see it here. Now, any information into one end of the connection will be output to the other end, and input and output can easily be captured in order to emulate file transfer. Start by using ANSI to listen a specific port with output captured into a file. Okay. See here, I am in a new folder here called file_transfer, and there are no files here in this directory here. So what I will do, I am doing the copying on the same system. I mean, two different directories on the same system. So I'm copying one file from one directory to the other. I mean, you can also do this using CP command, but I'm just showing you an example that using ANSI command also you can do. And this is more beneficial when you want to do copy from one machine to another. That also you can do. Here I'm just taking a simple example of copying on the same server itself. Now what I will do is, here I will, of course, I will run my server here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever it will get from the client. So this is a server here on the server. Basically, this is my server here, and on server, the index.html file is not there. So there is one file I want here that I will get from the client. Let's call the second tab as server. So second window as the server and first window as the client. Okay. Here, whatever I get, I will write that in this file, index.html. Okay. That file doesn't exist, but I will get the data from the client. That is the first window I will show you. I will just press enter here. Now this is listening on port number 1, 2, 3, 4, and is waiting for some input from connection and input from some client. I will go to the first window. That is my client here. And here I have one file, index.html. Okay. In some other folder, web server. Okay. Both the folders are different here. Here the folder is file_transfer. Here the folder is web server. Okay. Here I will just do cat index.html. You can see the content of this. Welcome is there. Clear this. Now what I will do, I will basically do cat of this file, and whatever output is there, that I will pass to the client. ANSI 127 0.0.1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So what this will do is, so here I have a server that is listening on port number 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever it will get, like whatever data it will get, it is going to, redirect that output to this file index.html. Okay. Here what I am doing, I am basically doing cat operation on index.html. Basically, this is the input here that I am giving to this client. So here also same thing will happen. First, what will happen, this client will start running. Okay. ANSI 127, this is simple client. It will start running. And after that, it will get this data from the file and it will send that data to the server. Okay, let's run this. Okay. Now what we'll do is, I mean, of course, it will not show you here, but in some time it will be done. So just type Control C here and go here at the bottom also. And use, if you do ls here, now on the server side, you should see the file index.html that was basically copied. If you do cat on index.html, you should see the welcome here, right? So basically we have transferred the index.html file from web server to this folder, file underscore transfer. So we have not moved the file, we have just copied. Go to the web server folder, and if you do ls, you can still see the file is there, right? We have just copied the data from this folder to another folder using this nc command. And there are a lot of other applications also, right? This is simple application I have told you, but you can, like, let's say if you want to transfer some file from one machine to another. So of course, in that case, you will not use 127.0.0.1. I mean, you have to, I mean, host the, basically you have to create the server. And of course, there you have to also mention the public IP address of your server. And when on the client side, again, you have to mention in NC what is the public IP address in that you have to mention there. There is another one important use case of this, like using the NC command itself, you can talk to servers like web servers, FTP servers, DNS servers. You can use this NC command to talk to them. See, because if you see HTTP or anything, HTTP works on top of TCP itself, right? TCP is used even in HTTP. Even in SMTP, if you see, TCP is used for the communication. Even in DNS servers, if you see, UDP is used for the communication. So we know that using NC command, we can simply create a TCP socket or UDP socket and use that for communication. So one example is given here. It is sometimes useful to talk to servers by hand rather than through user interface. So most of the time, of course, you can talk to the web servers using your browser itself. But sometimes to debug the issues, it's better to use the command line. It can aid in the troubleshooting when it might be necessary to verify what data a server is sending in response to commands issued by the client. So sometimes you want to debug that web server. So you want to see what reply you are getting from that web server. In that case, you can use NC command. Now what we'll do is we'll see a similar example that has been given here. So I will show you like how using the NC command itself, how you can talk to HTTP servers. You can talk to also to other servers, also like FTP and DNS servers. I'm just giving an example of HTTP server. So what I will do is I will start a simple HTTP web server that I've shown you, like with the help of Python, you can start it. -m http.server, okay? And we know that in this folder web server, there is a file called index.html, okay? We will try to make a GET request to that file. I have started this here. I will go to the top one, and then what I will do, I will connect to this web server, okay? So I will use basically, I mean, kind of client here. So of course I can create using NC, you can create both server and client. So I will do NC 127.0.0.1. I'll connect to this, port number is 8000, okay? Then basically, if you remember, for making an HTTP request, you have to follow the syntax of HTTP request. For example, here I want to make a GET request, okay? GET, then what is the path I want, okay? That path is index.html, okay? Then I have to mention which HTTP version I want to, maybe I will mention 1.0 here just, okay? I'll press enter here. Then you also need to mention the host here, that header is important, okay? 127.0.0.1, okay? Now let's press enter 2 times and you should see the output here. See, we have successfully made the request. The output is similar to what you have seen in telnet command before and curl command also. You can see the headers that we have got actually 1.0, that is basically the actually version supported by server, and 200 okay we have got, that means this request was successful. And the server here is basically simple HTTP server. This server is a simple HTTP server basically, Python also. In Python 3.6.9 is the version of Python here, and it's a simple HTTP server, and this simple HTTP server version is 0.6. Then date at which basically we got the reply, and the server sent the reply. Content type text HTML, content length is 19, last modified that is also given of this whatever file we are requesting, index.html. And then whatever was there in the file, we got that welcome h1 welcome, then close h1, that was there in the file in this index.html. We got that. On the server side also we saw that, we can see we got a request from 170.1 at this date. The request was a GET request. Then the request was for this file using the HTTP 1.0 version, and the reply from server was 200 status. I mean, 200, it was successful. So basically using NC command, you can also make requests over HTTP and TCP and other protocols. Now, it is very important to know the format of request for that protocol. Like if you want to make a request for HTTP protocol, so you want to know the format HTTP protocol. So if you want to make a request for SMTP using SMTP protocol, then you should know the format of SMTP protocol. That's why they have written more complicated examples can be built up when the user knows the format of request required by the server. So here I know the format of HTTP request, so I can easily make the request. They have also given example for how to, like for SMTP server. Okay, they have given the format is something like this, right? Hello, mail, RCPT data, and all of this. I have shown you this in my SMTP video, like this format. So you have to follow this format for email or SMTP server. Another use case of NC command is for port scanning. So which port are listening, right, and are open on your system and which are listening. You can find it out using this command, NC command again. It will be useful to know which ports are open and running services on a target machine. I mean, this is a lot of use cases, because a lot of hackers, what they will do is, I mean, they will see, okay, which ports are open, and they will try to target those ports. They will just DDoS that port, or they will try to take advantage of, like, if there are some issues on that server, they will try to take advantage using this. The -z flag can be used to tell NC to report open ports rather than initiate a connection. So we are not going to initiate a connection. We just want to know which ports are open. So you can see example. So let's do one thing. Let's follow this format here. Now see, so what we'll do is first we'll use netstat command. Okay, sorry, netstat nuptl. So we will see which ports are open here. So port number 22 is opened on 0.0.0.0. This is the local address here. So now 0.0.0.0, 8000 is also open, and this is TCP 6. We will not try, we will not go on, I mean, for IPv6 addresses here. And similarly on UDP, there is one more, 10.0.3.4 and 68. So we will try to check all of these. Okay, first try with NC, and you have to give -z. So basically -z you have to mention when you want to check a port. And you also have to mention V, that is, it will give the output where that port is open and listening or not. Okay, then basically copy this and try this first. Okay, copy this and try port number 22. It told connection to this port number 22 successful. It also told me that, okay, SSH is basically running on that. Okay, so we can also maybe try with 8000. It should also give me successful. Okay, connection to port succeeded, right? But if you try some other port number, maybe which are not listening, 27 maybe, let's say, okay, you should see, okay, NC connect to this port and it's failed, connection refused, because nothing is running on port number 27 here. Now for UDP, you have to change it. So this last connection is UDP. Let's test for this. So I have to use NC, say -z, -v should be there, but you have to use for UDP now, because this is UDP port. Then we'll copy this here and do port number 68. Now this should be, again, it will take some time, but after that the answer connection to 10.0.3.4 68 port succeeded. And also it told you which process is running here, right? So a lot of information is being leaked here, right? When you do port scanning here. And if you try some other UDP port, maybe 67, of course you will see connection. I mean, no answer you got. That means, I mean, basically you have some error here. I mean, you are not successful basically in this case. 167 was not there on that. I mean, was not opened on this system. So that's all for this video. And if you have doubts about any of these commands, do ask me in comments, and also do Google search, and you will learn a lot about these commands like netstat and how to create a simple Python web server using one line itself, and also how to do how to use NC command, like, which is very useful for transport layer debugging purposes. So that's all for this video. Thank you.